If you want to see your grandchild, send us $2,000 every month. If you don't like it, we'll just cut you off. Sophia, my daughter-in-law, laughed mockingly after saying this. My son John didn't take my side. He simply nodded in agreement with Sophia. There's no way I could forgive such behavior. My son and his wife have always treated me poorly, but I don't recall doing anything to deserve this. Even though we're in-laws, I've always tried my best to be a good family member and not be a burden just because I'm older. And this is how they repay me? I can't take their terrible attitude anymore. If they want to treat me poorly, I can do the same to them. My name is Grace, a housewife in her 70s. I live with my husband. We have one son, John, who graduated from a prestigious private university. He now works for a corporation and lives in Boston. 2 years after John moved to Boston, he brought home a fiancée to introduce to us. She seemed like a quiet and calm woman. We approved of their marriage because we trusted John's choice. They had a grand wedding in Boston afterwards. Everything seemed fine between our families, so I thought. We're in good hands. After their marriage, they moved close to our home. Sophia was planning to get pregnant, and our town has a major university hospital, so it was convenient for them. I thought it was a bit early for them to have kids, but no one questioned their decision when we saw how much they both loved children, and Sophia's strong desire to become a mother. At first, it seemed like we were getting along just fine as nearby in-laws, but everything changed when Sophia got pregnant. Grace, can you come over right now? I can't get any housework done. You've been through this, haven't you? Why won't you come and help? Are you even a mother-in-law? Sophia suddenly called me over like that and dumped all sorts of chores on me. Cleaning, laundry, and cooking. My wife is on edge. Pregnancy is tough, you know. It's only natural for her to be snappy if her in-laws, who should be helping, aren't. When I tried to confront John about Sophia's behavior, he dismissed me like that. Grace, can you send me $1,000 right now? I'm really strapped for cash this month. I mean, I've come all this way, heavy with child, to see you. The least you could do is help me out. When she showed up unannounced and said this, I couldn't turn her away from my front door. To make matters worse, she made a scene, yelling, "You're heartless, Grace! Your eldest son's wife is struggling, and you won't lift a finger? If I knew it'd be like this, I never would have moved nearby. Don't ever expect me to take care of you when you're old." I started getting the cold shoulder from my neighbors as a result. The terrible attitude of my eldest son and his wife had become neighborhood gossip. All the negativity naturally made its way back to us. We'd get asked all sorts of questions about them, or hear about the nasty rumors circulating. Because of them, living in the community where we'd spent so many years became uncomfortable. We tried talking to them once, asking them to change their attitude, but they wouldn't listen. Sophia screamed, "You're harassing me when I'm already stressed from pregnancy." John chimed in, pointing a finger at me. "Harassment? You're awful. Makes me sick to think I was raised by you." Ever since then, they've been nothing but rude to me, treating me like a housekeeper whenever we're together. We didn't want to cause any more drama, so we couldn't be assertive with them. Their behavior continued to escalate. Last month, they had a baby. Despite us reaching out and saying, "We'd love to meet our grandchild," they've kept us completely cut off. When our kid meets someone like you, they'll turn out all wrong. When Sophia said this, it made my blood boil, but I held back to avoid more conflict. Still, my frustration with them kept growing. That day they showed up at our house unannounced again. As soon as we opened the door, they waltzed in and brazenly sat down on our living room couch. "Grace, you can't even offer your guests some tea? Normally you'd serve some nice snacks, wouldn't you?" They acted as if they owned the place. It's unacceptable behavior to just show up and act like this. I can't consider people with attitudes like yours as guests. We didn't have plans to meet today, did we? Could you please leave? And what about the grandchild? You didn't just leave them alone, did you? I glared at them and said. Sophia retorted, "As if we'd neglect our precious child. A friend offered to babysit, so we took them up on it. Unlike you, Grace, we actually put our child first." Her words implied that I hadn't cared for John, that I'd been negligent in raising him. I've done my best with raising my children, you know, even if the results weren't what I'd hoped for. See, that's exactly what bugs me. When I look at you, Grace, it's clear you don't really care about your kids. If you truly cherish them, wouldn't your son treat you differently? Sophia smirks as if to provoke me. But I can't let words like that sway me now. I've grown accustomed to Sophia's harsh comments. However, what she said next was unforgivable. You might act all high and mighty, but aren't you planning to use your son to get my child? Don't you think he'll listen to his mother? And don't you resent me for stealing your son? Her words made me snap. Nothing she's saying is anything more than her imagination. It's not at all how I feel. Yet what stung the most was John casting a disdainful look at me after hearing Sophia, as if to say, "So you're thinking that, huh?" "Stop it! You're way off base! This is all in your head." Sophia laughs as if it is all a joke. "All in my head. Good luck convincing me of that. I see right through you, you know." But I don't harbor any of the feelings Sophia describes. For me, John is practically a stranger at this point. I have no emotional attachment to him. Just to set the record straight, I don't think the way you imagine. I can't consider someone who acts like this my son. Upon hearing this, John turns red and shouts, "What? What are you talking about? Despite being blood-related, you'd say something like that? You're unbelievable!" I get it. From John's perspective, it feels like I'm negating our parent-child relationship. But wouldn't it be better if he got mad at Sophia instead of getting mad at this? Tolerating Sophia's behavior while demanding proper treatment for himself, that's incredibly selfish. So I firmly told him, "Who's the real monster here? A son who laughs along while his wife insults his mother is not a son I can acknowledge." Then Sophia stood up and intervened. "Hold on a second. What you're saying is too harsh. You're going to hurt your son's feelings. You shouldn't say things like that as his mother. Apologize right now." Whose fault is that things have got this bad? I was further irritated by their forgetful attitude, but I gritted my teeth and endured. "Seriously, isn't this all because of the way you, Grace, are behaving? We're family. Shouldn't we get along? Bickering like this won't solve anything," Sophia said, acting like the voice of reason. John nodded as if moved by Sophia's words. "My wife is really wonderful." Wonderful? She ruins other families while boosting her own image. There's no way a woman like Sophia who keeps doing this can be a wonderful wife. I was fed up with Sophia's behavior, and also with John, who was falling for it. I didn't want any more arguments. Yet, inevitably, bickering would start because they instigated it, benefiting only Sophia in the end. How can I break this vicious cycle? I tried talking to my husband and thought of my own solutions, but each time Sophia would override them, lowering my value while elevating her own. After all these events, I was completely worn out. In the end, for several months, I couldn't see my grandchild. I'd asked my eldest son and his wife several times to let me see them, but I was always told they didn't want me to and was turned away at their door. Despite this, my eldest son and his wife continued to visit our home unannounced, and the stress kept piling up. One day I was called to their house. I was wondering what it could be about when Sophia, with a serious expression, said, "We have something to discuss. Grace, we'd like to ask for an allowance. Is that okay?" I was puzzled by Sophia's words. It would make sense if we were asking for money, since my husband is retired and we're living on a pension. But John is still working and they make a decent income. It seemed absurd to be asked for money by them. "Why do you need an allowance? Doesn't my son make enough money?" "Oh, come on. The details don't matter. Just give us some money and that'll be that. We won't ask for much." Neither Sophia nor John would tell me why they needed the money. Given that there was no way I could agree to an allowance, "I'm sorry, but I have to decline. We can't afford to give an allowance without even knowing the reason," I responded. Sophia's face turned red as she exclaimed, "Are you really a mother? Your son and daughter-in-law are struggling, and you won't even help?" And that's what she blurted out. "Go ahead, blame me all you want. I'm not giving you a dime for your support." "You're just heartless. No wonder even your own son can't stand you." "That's irrelevant. If you change your attitude, maybe I'd reconsider." Sophia burst out laughing right there and said, "Change my attitude? I've always had the perfect attitude for a person like you, Grace. If you want to see your grandchild, send me $2,000 every month. If you don't like it, we can just cut ties and you won't see us." I couldn't believe my ears at Sophia's words. Sophia kept laughing, and John chimed in. "Well said." I had no allies in this room. I couldn't stand being controlled by Sophia anymore, so I just stopped caring. "Fine, let's cut ties then. The thought of not having to see your faces anymore actually feels liberating." At my words, Sophia, who had been laughing, froze. "Wait, what? Are you serious?" As if she never expected me to respond that way. When I thought about it, my answer was only natural. For 2 years I've been harassed by my eldest son and his wife. They'd tell me to lend them money or suddenly summon me to do housework. If I refused, they'd call me heartless. There's no way I wouldn't be fed up with them. Cutting ties with them would be a perfect opportunity for me to discard this burden. I am serious. The thought of not having to see your faces feels liberating. I'll even draft a formal document so you can't approach me later." Sophia, not expecting my eagerness, shouted, "Oh, wait a minute! Grace, have you lost your mind? If you cut ties with us, you won't be able to see your son or your grandchild. And there's no way you can survive, just the two of you elderly people. You don't have anyone else to take care of you, right? There's no one who would care for broke seniors. So please, think it over," Sophia retorted. Despite being the one who suggested we cut ties, Sophia now had the audacity to say all this. I couldn't help but sigh at her short-sightedness. Well, to be honest, I've wanted to distance myself from you guys for a long time now. I just never found the right moment to say it. But since you brought it up, it seemed like the perfect time. Sophia responded, "I never thought you'd take me seriously. We can't live without your help. Your son has actually already quit his job. Please, help us." I couldn't help but exclaim, "What?" John, on the other hand, was awkwardly avoiding eye contact. According to Sophia, John quit his job thinking they didn't need to work as long as I was willing to lend them money. Sophia had tried to talk him out of it, but John didn't listen and quit his job without her consent. Apparently, they were both now working part-time to make ends meet, while their son was left at a friend's house. Sophia mentioned they were burdening this friend by leaving their son there 5 days a week. They were recently warned by this friend, who refused to look after their son anymore. Sophia went on to say that they had planned to leave the child with me, who has been eager to meet him and also benefit from some financial help. I was almost laughing at how naive my eldest son and his wife were, but I listened to the end. Sophia sincerely apologized at that moment. "Please, Grace, help us. Without your help, your son and grandson will face hardships. You are the only one we can rely on." Sophia apologized deeply, tears streaming down her face. But her convenience-driven attitude made my anger boil over. After the way they've treated me, now they come running when they find themselves in trouble, looking to take advantage of me. It was clear they would make foolish choices again if I let them off the hook now. "I'm sorry, but no matter how much you apologize, I won't be sending any money or spending any time with my grandson. We will keep our distance as initially planned." "Please don't say such harsh things. We're family, aren't we? Isn't it natural for a family to help each other out in times of need?" "Family? You're the ones who treated this family like it's disposable, remember?" When I confronted her like that, Sophia went silent. She always blabs about anything that suits her, but shuts up when it's convenient. Really unfair, I thought. You guys really should rethink what family means. Family is for support, not for exploiting. You can't even understand that basic idea, yet you became parents. You're really pitiful. Even after I said this, neither Sophia nor John had any retorts. Seeing them look down and avoid eye contact, I felt there was nothing more to say. I walked out of my eldest son's home and cut ties with them, just as I had announced. In the end, I never got to see my grandchild. But given the parents, I doubted I'd ever find the child genuinely adorable anyway. I'm fine with how things turned out. I heard later from friends that after cutting ties with us, the couple began fighting constantly. It was inevitable. They divorced. Sophia got custody, but she's too busy with work. Her parents are taking care of the child. Sophia and John continue to work part-time jobs, grinding away each day and coming home exhausted. As for me, the source of stress is gone, and I'm enjoying a peaceful life. Actually, I've been coordinating with Sophia's parents, meeting my grandchild when Sophia isn't around. Despite being born to those two, the kid's still adorable. When I extend my finger towards my sleeping grandchild, the tiny hand grips it, filling me with genuine love. Sophia's parents are decent people, so unless something drastic happens, a good relationship should continue. Although we've become strangers to our grandchild, we still want to watch him grow, even from afar.